Welcome back, nerds. This is Analese. Nope, that's wrong. Welcome back, nerds. That was actually right. This is Analese,
This is Rob.
and we are your nerd best friends.
It's the episode for all you tech nerds that grew up in the 80s and 90s. Do you want to do that all again?
We're going unedited, so sure.
Cool. Thanks, everybody. It's my fault. I told a dumb story before we started, and I thought it was going to help, but it derailed the whole thing.
And it's also my fault. I didn't look at our actual words we're supposed to say. We can do it again. For everyone who's watching this on YouTube, thank you for your patience. Welcome back, nerds. This is Analese,
This is Rob.
and we are your nerd best friends.
It's the episode for all you tech nerds that grew up in the 80s and 90s. Hey nerds, do us a favor, follow, subscribe, and share this episode with a fellow nerd. Help us grow the nerd herd. Now, strap in, roll for initiative, and let's get nerdy.
This is episode 104, and today we have a guest in the studio. Let's welcome Tony Ramirez to Nerd Best Friends. What's up, Tony?
Welcome,
going, guys?
Tony.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course, welcome to the podcast. And why don't we start with you? Give us a little bit of your nerd cred. What are some of your nerdy favorites?
Your hobbies and such.
Gosh, tech, obviously. Computers, flying planes, drones, model airplanes, Legos, working on a Deku tree right here from Zelda with the kids.
Oh, I love
Wow.
that.
Yeah, and it's the one where you can pick Ocarina of Time or Breath of the Wild, I believe it is. So, but yeah,
Okay.
just all things fun.
And you made the correct choice and chose Ocarina of Time?
I did not make the choice. My kids did, and they made the incorrect choice.
No,
Allowed
Breath of
to
the
make
Wild
mistakes.
is fantastic. It's just not the one I spent 400 hours on in college.
Well, hey, Tony, we always ask this of people when they show off their Lego builds. What do you do with them when they're done? Do you have like a Lego room of displays?
So we've got about a 75% survival rate, right? Where most of them are still intact in the rooms, on shelves, nothing official formal. We did try to get a couple cases. In fact, there's one up here. It's a Mustang, and that's one that one of my boys made for me for Father's Day. But other than that, we just kind of find a nook and cranny in the house to store them at this point. We don't have an official room yet. We want to. And then, the 25% go into the Lego graveyard and into the build table where we want to keep all the extra pieces for the new ones coming in.
Sure. Very good.
That
Well,
sounds about right. That sounds like the common experience. That's about how it is around here. It's like, oh, remember those sitting there collecting dust on the shelf? And then whatever happened to, it's just this big tub now, right? Like a big storage bin of Lego.
As long as it's in a tub and you're not stepping on it with your bare feet, we're good. Well, before we get to what we're here to talk about, which Tony did give us a little hint at, we're going to talk about tech and gadgets. So before we get to that, we have some nerd mail. Okay, Rob, today's nerd mail, I tried to send you a clip, and I don't know if you were able to watch it, but Los805 sent us a clip of a Matrix movie experience. And so this is the second thing that I've seen about an upgraded version of watching films, and not even new films, right? The Matrix is now 20-something years old. The first example I can think of is the Wizard of Oz experience that's happening at the Sphere in Las Vegas, right? So have you seen clips of those? Have either of you seen clips of that?
I have seen the clips of that, and a coworker friend of mine just went last week. and was telling me
did
about
your coworker friend like rave about it?
I mean, he's not really the kind of person that gets excited or happy about anything, but it sounded really cool to me.
Okay, yes. And Tony, have you seen clips of this experience of the Wizard of Oz?
And it actually seems like what I feel like 4D movies were meant to be, not just a little bit of water splashed in your face, but actually completely immersive with, just feeling like you're actually there. So I'm intrigued.
Yeah, and definitely with a sphere, because that is a screen that is basically an entire sphere of a screen. The movie doesn't fill the screen. They use your peripheral vision to enhance what's happening on the screen, right? Like you're not seeing a giant IMAX screen. You're seeing a box that's bigger than your typical movie screen, but around it are other graphics. If it's windy, there's leaves flowing around in the graphics, as well as the wind on their face and all those things. Well, the clip that Los805 sent us is the Matrix experience is also in Las Vegas. It's at the Cosmo in Las Vegas right now. And it's the same thing where it's a giant screen, like a big IMAX screen, but they box in a widescreen clip of the movie. They're watching the movie, and around it, there's, again, just graphics that are enhancing the screen. So the one that's in the clip he sent us is when he's first being in the Matrix and being introduced to everything, and there's those scenes where all the, like, racks of guns come forward. It's
Hmm.
happening on either side of you in your peripheral vision, as well as at the same time it's happening on the screen. And then when they have big, there's another clip of when the screen fills with the green tech writing, it, like, expands out around the whole screen. Like, it looks really cool. And so my question is this like the new wave of getting people to go to the movie theaters?
Well, yes, because here's what I'm noticing the trend is. It's old movies that we're already familiar with, right? So it's, the movie industry is what it is, and we have writer strikes, and we have AI, and we have general, like, discord on the internet about, like, oh, I can get clicks if I talk about how bad some new movie is. So how do we get people to the theater? Let's take an established thing like The Wizard of Oz, completely, like, ubiquitous in all of our culture, and The Matrix, right? These classic things. Lord of the Rings probably would be another thing to do. And give it a shine, give it a new thing. And it's like, you don't have to worry about the movie. It's about the experience. It's about
Right?
doing something new. People who are going to go to that are already excited about the movie. So we can get them in the door, sell all the snacks, do all the things, get all the social media buzz for our company because, like, that part is taken care of. Is like the next movie going to come out and be, like, purposefully designed for an experience like that? I don't think so.
It made me think, like, what if they had done that to Project Hail Mary? Like, I would have spent the extra money to see a film like that in an experience like this, but I can't think of many more. Would I have done the same? I probably would have done the same thing for Scream 7. So let me just stop myself from saying I wouldn't, but I don't know that I would have waited to go to a specific theater to see that in the theaters. But I can see some of these, like, bigger movies they're making right now. What if this was a purposeful shift in Hollywood right now? It's an interesting
And
thought.
I just want to add to that. I did have the opportunity to see Project Hail Mary, 70 millimeter IMAX, of course, Universal City. It's fantastic, but I almost wonder if the sphere or larger than life total immersive experience is almost too much for a first time. You're not taking it in, maybe a little
Mm.
distracting. Whereas, like Rob said, playing on the nostalgia of an already beloved film, and you're just incentivizing your audience to come for that extra ooh and the extra ahs. So that's just my thought as well.
Yeah, there's something to the
Excellent point.
retrofit, right? Because I think too, there was like the 3D movie craze, right? When like Avatar first came out. And I remember there was this like really cool animated Beowulf movie that came out, and it was like made for 3D. But there's this barrier of entry there because if you're not watching it in 3D, there's all these like cheesy, dumb things that they're doing to like point stuff at the camera in weird angles and do all this stuff. And it just takes you out of the movie because you're like, oh, that's like some dumb 3D thing that I'm not seeing because I'm watching it on my television. Right. So in this case, that retrofit is actually helping rather than, like you're saying, that new movie being designed. Like you might not like Project Hail Mary as much if you knew, oh, it was designed for all these crazy things. I'm not going to watch it on my TV at home because it's going to look dumb.
That's also true. That's a good point. And I agree with the both of you, whether or not it'll be too overwhelming as a first time watch. I will say, ironically, the gentleman that posted that clip had never seen The Matrix before, but it doesn't make it non-nostalgia because he's around people who've seen it before and he knows it's an established, well-loved movie. So it still works even if it wasn't a rewatch for that gentleman because he did a little thing at the end holding his phone going, "Oh my gosh, that was so cool." But again, it's not a new film. So that may be the route it's going, right? Maybe Project Hail Mary in 10 years from now will be in one of those immersive experiences or something. But I think they're really cool. And I hope they get cheaper. We almost went to the Wizard of Oz. It was like $160 a ticket. That's a little much for a movie going. I'm good. I might pay that much
But
for the Matrix. It looked really cool.
now, if it was Return to Oz
I
down,
was
money
gonna say now
spent.
they need to do Return to Oz, and I'll be there. That'll be a Nerd Best Friends LLC write off to go to that one.
My gosh.
All right. Well,
Not
what do
even.
you think, nerds? Tell us and send in your deep thoughts, nerd questions, or talk nerdy to me subjects by sliding into our DMs or send those topics in an email to podcast@nerdbestfriends.com. And now the moment you've all been waiting for. Today, we're talking about tech gadgets that existed in our imaginations that became real.
Yeah, we got Tony on. Tony the tech guy, and so we were talking about what we wanted to do, and it was like, if we're gonna talk tech, let's talk like the idea of like fictional technology from pop culture and books and stuff that we've seen. And we know some of that stuff comes into real life. What was, science fiction in Star Trek is they're walking around with their data pads to like get information back and forth. And now all of a sudden we've got tablets as part of, our regular everyday life. What are those kinds of technologies that either we wish we had or are maybe just around the corner?
And these are not in any rank order, so we didn't rank these like, I think number 1 is the best. We're just gonna talk tech. Would you like to go first, Rob? Tech gadget
Yeah,
1.
absolutely. So I had to figure out like how was I going to approach this subject because there's so much cool stuff out there. It was like I could talk about, vehicles and cool space travel. And then I was like, oh, I could talk about like teleportation technology and things to like, replicators, making things out of something out of nothing. I could go with like cool weapons and laser beams and all kinds of like, where am I going to focus this on? And so I was having a conversation with my son, and he goes, think about what's the Rob Cooper angle? What are the things that like you want in your life? And so of course, in my, self-abasing way, I'm like, yeah, okay, I got this now. It's all about convenience and that feeling of living in the future and just being as relaxed and chill as possible, right? So my first tech is the floating chairs from the movie Wall-E, where they're just this symbol of laziness and sloth, right? Everybody who's on these chairs is just like a big fat baby person, and the chair takes them everywhere they need to go, gets them everything they need to do. It's got a little AI voice in it that you can talk to, and it'll zoom you around to the cafeteria, to the entertainment space, to
What
the
was that
wherever.
company? Was that By and Large, right? From the movie?
It
By and
gotta
Large.
be. That sounds exactly right. Yeah. Just an
It reminds me of
absolute.
like Walmart or even Amazon, right?
Yep, Costco. It's definitely like the big brand thing. It's like, we've taken care of all of your needs, our giant monopolistic future company. Total dystopian, but I mean, pretty cool.
10.
1010 would use, right? Like, it's got the screen just pops up in front of you for all the stuff. Like, it's so kind of a joke answer, but I'm going with the chair from Wally.
Wonderful.
Love
Tony,
that.
what do you have for your first one?
You know what? I'm gonna switch one of mine because this actually goes into one of the ones I was originally thinking about, and it does exist now, and it's getting better. It's not always perfect, and I'm not gonna go with the blanket AI statement, but more specifically Jarvis from Iron Man.
Mm,
That's one of
yep.
my favorites because I mean there was calculations happening on the fly, and that's just a personal assistant saved his lives multiple times, and that's kind of so I was originally going to say another one, but you said Wally and the floating chairs, and there was a lot of AI in that as well, kind of just knowing what you want and what you like and directing you options and all that good stuff. But the ability to have AI with you, not just in a helmet, but uh, making recommendations and fixing things right there on the fly is fantastic. And so as we go to our phones more and more just for information, I would love for it to be a lot more immersive and involved. But yeah, so Jarvis would be my first one.
And incredibly personal. Like, the cool thing about the AI in fiction is that it's another character in the story, right? So it'll just interject. If something's going wrong and Iron Man is falling from the sky, it's just going to come in. It's not going to ask you, it's not going to wait for you to ask a question. It's going to be like, hey, I'm detecting that you're falling at 300 feet per second. We're going to do this, this, and this, right? And like, save it. That's the cool thing about it. And that's where it's like that technology of being just around the corner. Right now, we got to ask, right? You got to ask, you got to prompt, you got to clarify because the prompt wasn't right, all that kind of stuff. The right around the corner thing is like your personal assistant that knows what's going on, knows what your preference is, and is just there all the time as a helpful little voice.
We have small examples of that, Rob. I remember you saying your watch asked you if you were okay because of your heart racing during like Star Wars or something, a Spider-Man movie,
That
whatever
is
it
a
was.
true thing.
Your watch was like, "Hey, are you doing okay? Do you need to sit down?" We have our cars. If you are swerving too much, well, I don't know about you, but like pops up a little image of a coffee cup and like, do you need to take a coffee break? I've also had my phone, my earbuds, I can't remember which, something warned me about the decibel level, at like a marching band show or something like, hey, this is a little bit dangerous for you. So we have it, even though it's not personalized. We do have it against our weak human bodies that tech is going like, hey, this might be a dangerous situation. There's been OnStar, right? If your car gets in a crash, and now our phones do it. It detects like that there's been like a collision and like we'll call 911 on your behalf. We're closer than we think. It's just not personalized in the way they display Jarvis with Tony Stark.
And I would feel that it's potentially a lot more divisive or throwing shade more than it is productive. It tells me to stand up when I've been sitting too long, right?
Yeah.
It tells me, do you want to take a break when I have an Aura ring, right? So
Oh yeah.
it'll detect my stress levels and it'll say you need to chill out, right? And I'm like, hey, mind your own business, AI. Like this is my life.
Yeah,
Or it tells you to take a
nothing.
mindfulness break.
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing like the feeling I have when I wake up in the morning and I drag myself out of bed and I get an alert that says, "Hey, you didn't sleep well last night. Maybe try to do better." It's like, thanks. You just set the tone for my whole day. Hey, you didn't get enough sleep. You didn't go to bed on time. You woke up a bunch. Like, your sleep score is low. Good luck, sucker. I
Thanks
was
a
like,
lot.
okay,
Yeah,
great.
Thanks.
I
exactly.
got to go to work now.
The one that rage baits me is when I am standing and like, I'm walking around campus or there's an incident going on and it's like, you need to stand up. I'm like, oh, is that a short joke? Can I stand up any more standier than I'm standing right now? Like, that's the one that gets me because it doesn't actually take it off like elevation. It just takes it off of like the stagnancy of how you're standing or sitting. So that's the one that gets me. All right. Well, kind of along these lines, sort of. I went with the Inspector Gadget, right? The idea that he can talk to Penny on his watch. Now, granted, I don't know if video calls have really taken off, though our watches can do it. I don't know that I've seen anyone do it, but the fact that you can take that call, you can take a FaceTime call on your watch, especially those who have the separate service to their
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
instead of having it attached to their phone. So, who would have thought, as I would have never thought as a kid watching Inspector Gadget in the 80s, that we would one day be able to go like blah 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 blah. And I do that all the time, and I think about Inspector Gadget every single time. So that's my
If
first
you,
choice: is the fact that we can call on our watches.
the watch even has like your Apple Watch has a walkie-talkie mode where
It
you
does.
can literally just set it up as walkie-talkies and go back and forth. I was like, oh, we should play with this and do the walkie-talkie. I have zero friends or family in my life that wants anything to do with a walkie-talkie watch feature. They're like, so you would just like push a button and my watch would have your voice going like, hey, are you there? And I'm like, maybe. Like, yeah, no.
Over and out, good buddy.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, but that would be cool. Walking talkies like when we were kids. Everybody's like, no, that sucks. I don't really, Rob, I don't even want you calling me. Just send me a text message. That's fine.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Well, I'll be moving back closer, best friend. So I don't know close enough for walkie-talkie age, but we'll make it happen somehow.
We'll see. You say that. We'll see.
Select days and hours. We'll create a schedule, a walkie schedule.
A walkie talkie schedule, like when we're doing cool things in events, right? Like when we're, I don't know, when we're at Vegas or something. Walkie talkies.
Makes
Keep in
sense.
touch.
It makes sense. All right, let's do reverse order for gadget 2. So I'll go first, and I think this is kind of also in the same lines, but you have Kit in Knight Rider, and who would, again, as a child in the 80s, to think we'd ever be in position to talk to our cars. Now, this is a little bit of a cheat, I know, because it's not the car. I mean, some cars can do it, but it's very limited. It's really our phones that are attached to the cars. But I imagine if they had thought about that, a device that he could take out of the car and take with him, they would have done it. But also I think
He's
about
got it
all
on
the
his watch. He
he
does
does,
have.
yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So it's that we can talk to our vehicles, but I also think about all the technology that's available now, like on what is that? The electric car that I'm
Tesla,
blanking not a
Rivian.
Tesla. Thank you. The Teslas will start recording in 360 around it if it senses any danger, right? Rob, you have a car that when you go to park, it gives you a bird's eye view of your vehicle and the objects around you so you can parallel park. We have self-parking cars. And they will also unpark themselves if you're like in a tight situation, you can't get to the door. We have these technologies in bits and pieces, but the main fact is we can talk to our cars while we are driving and something will respond. It's
Yep.
pretty wild.
Tony, you had a Tesla. You still have a Tesla, right?
I do. And
I was just wondering, can it self-drive for short distances? Like, can you be like, hey, come pick me up on the curb and it'll like cruise up like Kit?
Yeah,
That's
they call it
insanely cool.
summon mode. It's really cool, especially if it's like it's pouring cats and dogs and you're, I don't know, 500 feet out. Well, you can have it pick you up in the summon mode. So it's pretty nifty.
It's awesome because that's the Knight Rider thing is you'd see
Right.
the car driving with nobody in it, like a Waymo, but it looks cool instead of all covered with a bunch of bulky cameras.
I mean, it's the modern day. I can't do the whistle, but the horse comes and you jump on the horse and you make your escape. Right? Love it.
Yep.
That's a very cool way to think about it. Like, it's like, no, I'm not lazy and don't want to walk to my car. I'm a cowboy.
Well, it
When you
reminds me of
put it that way,
Batman as well, right? Or whether it's the Batpod or whatever Batmobile device, it'll come and save the day. I love that technology about that.
it's amazing. Technology in our cars, it's wild.
So I'll go with my number two if we're ready to move on.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I
it
was
is
just going
along
to go
with
on a tangent about vehicles and I was biting my tongue
go
and I'm
for
not
it.
sure why because it's a talk show.
It's a podcast, bro. Nerd
It's such
tangents.
a cool Batman trope. You were thinking about it, I'm like, God, that's such a cool Batman trope. It's like, where's the vehicle gonna because it's gotta explode out of something, right? It's not cool unless the car was in this building the whole time and now it exploded out of the garage door like the A-Team or something, right? So see, there's a comic series going on right now that's very popular, Absolute Batman. And it's this whole thing where like it's even more grim, dark, violent than regular Batman. It's just regular Batman. But the Batmobile reveal in that book is they're in a construction site for this new building and, he's trying to beat up the bad guys and they're getting the best of him and like all of this kind of stuff. And then out of the basement of the building, this giant black dump truck just explodes out of the construction site. And it's just like the biggest thing you've ever seen. And everybody's shooting at it and the bullets are bouncing off and he's in the back doing the thing. I'm like, the Bat dump truck. Great reveal. Chef's kiss of that trope.
It's definitely a new one.
Unexpected, which is hard to do. All right.
Makes me
Sorry for
wonder,
that.
is there a bat dump that you take your bat trash to?
It's just full of bat trash. It's all black and yellow, old bent batarangs and empty
All his
cans of bat shark repellent.
failed tech
Everything gets tossed in the bat dump
in the bat dump.
with the bat trash.
All right. What do you got for your next one, Tony?
Still along the same vein as AI, but it is from Minority Report, which, by the way, I consider Minority Report, as many do, one of the true sci-fi movies where a lot of these technologies are coming to life, or where we're seeing them in reality today. I still love the movie, not just because of that, but who doesn't love some Spielberg and John Williams? That's just my favorite duo right there. I think they come out with another movie this year. Their 30th collaboration together, by the way.
Jeez.
Williams, I believe, is 93. That being said, Minority Report, there's a lot of tech and futuristic stuff in there, but I always loved when he comes home in his car, just all the way up the building, right to the side of the window, into his home and says, "I'm home." And from there, it starts triggering all the things, whether it's music, lighting, temperature. Right? And so I think of today, and I think of all of the different IoT devices that we can connect to our home network and control with our voice, whether it's on Apple HomeKit or Google Nest, right? And so far they suck. They're just not that great, right? They're going online and offline all the time. One system, one's to the next. You try to open your blinds, and in the case of my brother, and it only goes halfway, or the garage gets stuck, and it's we're not quite there yet. Minority Report when he comes home, and then also there's like these 3D projected hologram type things. Like that was like that movie when you walk in and see that movie for the first time, and I believe it was a novel, and seeing that come to life, you're like, wow, this was something special. This was something different. And now, years later, and I think the movie was set in 2053 or 2054 or something like that. And we're catching up to the future, but yeah, just a smart home in general that works and doesn't glitch on you and doesn't want to kill you either.
Tony, can you help me remember? I believe I've seen this once. Is this the film where they can predetermine crimes, and so it's Tom Cruise, and
Yeah,
then he ends up being on that list for some reason, and he's trying,
yeah.
like, that's the whole right. Okay,
And
I've
then
seen it
he's
before. Okay,
running
yeah,
from
yeah, yeah,
it. Exactly.
yeah. It's
I
like it
love it.
turns into The Fugitive, but a futuristic fugitive.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Okay,
Exactly.
that
all
is.
right. That's also like Back to the Future 2, right? when Marty comes home and is like, "Welcome home, Marty," and it like sets the things that he loves and stuff
Exactly.
like that. Yeah.
Exactly.
So that was something I was going to follow up with as well, because even if we got it working just right, and in the Minority Report example, it's a single dwelling apartment for a single person. So you could walk in and like, I'm home, and it gives you everything to your settings. But if you're a family of 3 or a family of 4, then what are we doing? Right? Then I come in, I get everything set up exactly how I want. And then 5 minutes later, my kid walks through the door and it's, oh, Andrew's home, and the light changes and the music goes crazy. And it's like, is that all? That's always going to be that barrier, right? Or like in Back to the Future, right? Isn't there a scene where like the daughter comes in and is like, whatever, computer, change it to my settings, and everything goes all wonky.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yes.
also when they're at the kitchen table, like the different things that they want is all chaotic. Yeah, you make a good point. There's a difference between having a family unit or being just living by yourself.
Well, I think they knew even back then making that movie that technology is always going to suck. It's always going to fail. It's always going to, have to be tweaked, and we're going to have to get better at it. And so even in the future, their prediction was there's still going to be problems. I love that about it.
That's amazing. You're thinking,
Could
Rob, but I was
probably
about to
you could you could tell that
No,
like
go,
I'm like,
go.
okay, so if I were going to, so where is the place? And like, oh man, more and more this is becoming a shared space, and it's wonderful. But the nerd room is a place where I could set that up and be like, okay, I could have the right lighting, I could do different things. I could be like, oh, it's, like, oh, it's a recording day. And then like the light would change and the things would happen and whatever. It's like, oh, I'll be, hobbying today. And the light changes to be brighter and the different ones turn off and all that kind of stuff. And like, oh, it's Dungeons and Dragons nights. And like the colored lights come on and the microphone and stuff like that's like a space where it may be able to work. Seems like a lot
Yeah.
of work though.
Oh,
Right
it
now, it's a
definitely
lot of work.
it is. And back to the family of, more than one. I believe it's Apple and even Google, I think. It does do a certain degree of voice recognition security. If you were to say, or if any one of my kids were to say, "Hey Siri," don't freak out on the iPad and iPhone in my room right here, it wouldn't detect it because it knows it's not their voice, right? Because you have to set it up and you have to say it a couple times. It's just like your biometric with your face and your fingers and all that stuff. So they're ideally, they program that in. So whoever says I'm home, it may already know who else is home, right? It may understand the situations that you pre-programmed. So hopefully it gets better.
Tony, just wait until those boys gets older and then they have the exact same voice as you, because that's what has happened here. Andrew's not allowed to come on
My
the
bad.
podcast anymore
My bad.
because listeners were like, I can't tell who's talking. The voices are too much alike.
That's not why, but it is a thing.
It definitely was a thing.
No, as he's become a elder teenager, junior in high school, I'm too busy to come on the podcast.
Right.
It's legit. But it is a
Okay.
thing. Rob's not wrong. Even when editing, it's like, what? Wait, who?
What's even funnier is sometimes we'll be in the car and he'll go to like play a song, and he does an impression of me. Like he doesn't have to change his voice, but there's a way that he talks to it
The
that is
inflection.
definitely, and I can't, the inflection, and it just kills me. I just give him the dirtiest look because it works is the thing. He'll be sitting there and he'll be like, hey car, play such and such song, and it doesn't work. And then he like does this thing and he goes like, I'm Rob Cooper. Siri, play the blah blah blah, and it works. And I'm like, gosh dang it. Like, I can't. It's just real. It's just real.
Oh, that's good. That is good.
That reminds me of when I also get roasted by my kids when they say, "Dad, why were you talking like that to the waitress or to the fast food server?" And I'm like, "What way?" And they're like, "Well, you have this like your voice goes up a little bit." I'm like, "Oh yeah, well, I'm just showcasing that I'm being extra polite and saying thank you and have a good day and just being a little bit more animated than I normally would." They're like, "Yeah, don't do that. That's weird." I'm like, "What do you mean that's weird?"
Try to be nice. Well, maybe it doesn't come naturally to you, Tony.
I guess not.
That's my polite voice, kids. You never hear it.
That's what it is. You wouldn't recognize it. That's what it sounds like when I'm being
And I think
polite.
that's the undertone, right? They're like, "Well, that's not
Yeah.
really you, so you're just lying." And I'm like, "Well, now you know how to play the games."
This is called
Wow.
code switching, my child. This is our outdoor voices. Wait till we get home. That
All
is
right.
so
I
good.
am
Hey,
going to
Rob, did
go.
your Wait, did
Yeah.
your devices go off because you said the S
Yes.
word?
Did you hear that in the background? I was
Yes.
like, oh, things are playing. What's happening? Yeah, I
I think you
definitely.
couldn't tell where it was coming from, but I knew it was you because you had the panic on your face. Like, my
There's
cell
music
phone
playing
just went off in
somewhere.
the middle of the meeting.
Yep.
See, this is why the tech's not ready for it yet.
Exactly.
Good stuff. All right, we're on gadget 3.
Oh, I have
No,
not
no,
given
you
my
haven't done
number
number 2 yet.
two
We tangent. I
yet,
love it. Number 2 for
which
Rob.
is how often are you sitting somewhere? You're either locked in, you're working at your desk, or you're sitting on the couch watching the sports game or a movie or something, and you need something and it's just out of reach. It's just, oh, I'm gonna have to get up. Like, I can't reach it. Or in bed and the alarm goes off and you're like stretching over and trying to like get it. It's just out of reach. Dr. Octopus robot arms. This is the
Okay.
answer to all of our problems. You get that little harness on, it infuses itself into your spinal cord and connects directly to your brain. What could go wrong? Yep,
Nothing.
exactly.
Nothing.
And now you've got 4 extra like telescoping super long robot arms to fetch all of your stuff. Now you combine this with the Wally chair and you're just cruising through life, everything
You're
at your
set.
fingertips, just absolutely perfect.
And you never need to use your spine or legs again.
There you go.
Is this just your fantasy to become General Grievous one day, Rob?
Maybe so. Just wait till my number 3.
I mean, I was thinking more Jabba the Hutt, because what would actually
That's fair.
happen to a
That's
human
fair.
that's doesn't move and has all this tech attached to their spine? Can I choose the less invasive option connected to my number 1? And I would choose a hat like Inspector Gadget has, that the arms can just come out of the hat and do all the things. But there's not 4 of them. I think there's only 2.
There might be only 2, and they're coming out of your fedora, which is really
It's got to
dorky.
be like 100 pounds on your head.
It's not a cool supervillain harness. It's a dumb hat where the thing pops off like a
It's no longer
1920s
nerdy.
hobo.
It's
And
dorky. You can't have that.
I
that's right.
mean, it's not attached to my spine, though.
Then it's not going to work as good, Annalise.
It may not. It may not. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Man,
Either, as long as I can, reach the outlet from behind the couch. I mean, that's
this
annoyed
is
me
what
for
I'm saying.
years.
Without
I
having to
mean,
crawl on the floor,
that's what your voice is for, right? See, all of these things just need to meld into becoming reality. So you don't need to reach the outlet. You can just tell the thing to turn on
What
or
I've
turn
always
off.
thought about Doc Octo wasn't just the out of reach stuff. It's what can I do now that I couldn't do before? Like, I don't need a ladder. I can just climb up the side of my house to hang my Christmas lights. Or I have infinite strength. So, if I can't get out of this parking lot or this parking spot, I just use my arms to move my car. I think it's the strength piece that I like about that one.
That's a good call.
that is true. And there's the multitasking, right? Because
Yeah,
it's
I
like,
was gonna.
okay,
Yeah,
I'm here sitting at the computer during work. My arms are stretched out over in the kitchen making coffee, and this arm's over here, like, I don't know, rocking the bassinet where the
painting
baby
minis,
is sleeping.
I will
the
say the amount of
multitasking.
times I haven't had enough hands to pick up all the junk in the yard at the end of the day or at the grocery store when I really don't want to get a basket or a cart. I'm just there for a couple
Uh,
things, but I'm one hand short.
that was me at Home Depot just yesterday. Like, oh, I'm just getting a couple things. I don't need a cart. And then meanwhile, I'm standing in line all trying to stack stuff on top of each other like an idiot.
And at that
And you
point,
think,
you're too far gone. You're committed. You've already crossed the
right,
Rubicon. You're not going back.
right. I'm going to put all this stuff down and go outside and no, forget it. We got to make do. Not with
Sadly, I
Dr.
think we
Octopus
have.
arms.
I think we've all been there. And then you get people going by like, would you like a cart? No, I'm good. I'm good. And you're still like,
You're just dropping things and picking the
uh-huh.
next thing up, and the other one drops. And
I
don't
just have
worry
to
about it.
switch arms where this goes. I'm fine. All right. Dr. Octopus Arms. That's Rob's number
That's right.
2.
2
Starting
trips
with
out to
you.
the car to bring in the groceries couldn't be me.
And you don't even have to walk because you'll be in your floating chair.
Exactly right.
You're going to have it come pick you up. You're going to, instead of whistling your horse, you're going to whistle over the command to the chair to come to you. So you just go from the car chair to your chair.
There's so many options, right? We could stack the groceries on the chair and then the robot legs could just do the walking.
Yeah,
It's
there you
so
go.
versatile.
Yeah, so many ways it can get done. That takes us to number 3. And we get to start with you, Rob. Your number 3.
Okay, perfect.
Tech gadget.
So to round out the trifecta of this tech utopia that I'm going to be living in, I chose the Bacta tank from Star Wars. And we see these in a few places, but this is the big like tank of goo that you'll see people floating in with like the big mask and the diaper to heal yourself and like regenerate your cells as part of your hospital stay. And so I don't know what's in there. I'm going to guess stem cells or something. But you go in this Bacta tank, it keeps you alive, it heals your wounds. It's probably repairing any other kind of like generative thing you've got going with your eyeballs or your all kinds of stuff. And this needs to exist. One, it's amazing that you could just like heal everything overnight and be on this thing. But what a great way to sleep. It's a sensory deprivation tank as well, right? You put on this mask, like you put on your sleep apnea mask, you put on your weird plastic space diaper, and then you just sink into this goo and you're kind of floating there. It's probably the best sleep of your life. My watch isn't going to tell me in the morning I didn't sleep well in a Bacta tank. And then you just have no place was this seen more in the series Book of Boba Fett. They did this thing, like the Mandalorian was all popular and they brought Boba Fett in it because he's like the original cool helmet guy. And then he got his own spin-off chapter. And I'll be darned if there wasn't a single episode where that dude wasn't like flopping his way in his space diaper out of that goopy back to tank, like to an upsetting degree, I would say. But now I'm imagining me as the fat guy in a space diaper in the Bacta tank, my Dr. Octopus arms crawling me out of it and just slopping me down on my Wally chair all covered with goo. And I'm just like pouring out of there like my feet haven't touched the ground in 10 years. Amazing. And I'll never die.
Wow. I don't even know what else to say except
So there's a lot of similar like med bay type of technologies. I was actually having a conversation with a buddy the other day about this because it's in Project Hail Mary. There's, I believe, a scene. I only saw it once where it's some sort of med bay understanding what you need, right? They have it in a bunch of the Alien movies or in other Star Wars movies. Well, they'll just like staple you shut or open you up and remove the infection, spray that basically liquid stitches onto you to seal
Yep.
a wound, and you go about your day and you inject you with all your antibiotics or whatever. I love the idea of the fact that like I just need to not die, and then I can get back to that med bay and then I'll be
Right.
okay. Like, just don't die.
Yes.
And I think that was the mindset in the Boba Fett show. It was like, you can get shot, you can get dismembered or whatever, but you get back to that thing and you're still in the game.
Mm.
Love it. Great,
Ooh, how
great
about
choice.
the more futuristic version in Black Panther, right? They go in and use the technology to see where they're hurt and can extract the like they use the vibranium to help extract the like bullet or whatever to save that one dude's life. No tank and diaper needed.
I was going to say like, well, yeah, that sounds great, but then you miss out on the diaper and all the goo. This is a
I
feature,
mean,
not a bug.
we do have sleep deprivation tanks. They do not heal you like you are describing, but you can go and get that. I don't know. I've never done it before. Have either of you done it before? I did try the like what was it, Cairo freeze or whatever that was.
Hyperbaric chambers, yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
wild. That was wild, and it was only like 3 minutes in it, and it was very interesting.
There's a shop, and I think it's a chain now called Restore, I believe, and they have all those different types of things, hyperbaric chambers and the sleep pods and all the different IVs that you can think of, whatever vitamin cocktails you need, whether it's hangover or you just, want some energy to last the day or get through life. And it's becoming more a thing, and they're popping up in places. And if you're like me and you have a trip to Vegas in a week and a half, you're interested in these places to keep you going because we're not getting any younger. So I guess that's the current day to take, is just doing
in
what we can.
Vegas, you in Vegas, you can have people come to your room and set up IVs for you to help you rehydrate. Yep, yep. And Planet Fitness has a UV like chamber that you can go in for a handful of minutes at a time. I've never done it, but it's available in their little like where they have the little aqua massage stuff and all that stuff. I've not tried it, but it's supposed to be really good for you.
Is that
Rejuvenate.
like when you put your smartphone in a case and it gets rid of all the bacteria, but the human version of that is
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, exactly.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yes.
You get a little shot of vitamin D energy, and it
Extorts
antibacterializes
the
you.
bacteria from your skin and your body.
Ew.
I'll
The
try it sometime. I'll let you guys know.
the Project Hail Mary one is a really good example of that. Like they do a lot of it's used a lot in the book and how it's like very smart as far as reading his vitals. It will only give him particular calories and particular foods when he's coming out of it. There's an arm that kind of comes out from the wall and does some things, and it's continuously giving him feedback on his biometrics and stuff. And as it improves, it changes his diet and changes his water intake and stuff like that. It's pretty darn cool.
Hey, Rob, without any spoils, does the book explain why it fails for the other two?
The failure from the other two had to do with their tolerance to the what's the word? It starts with an A. The thing that puts you to sleep medically. The
NSD.
anesthesiology of it all. So
Okay.
that was a big thing. It also weighed into why he went on the mission beforehand anyway. They came up with a way that it's like, okay, this is a safe way to put someone in a coma for 3 years, but only 1 out of 10,000 people have the biometric markers to actually be able to tolerate it. And so, but they didn't have the time to actually test it over the 3-year plan. So those two astronauts and Grace all had those markers. So ideally, like they were chosen for the mission because they should be able to survive the 3-year coma, and it failed.
Wow. Interesting. Thank you. Number 3, that goes to you, Tony. Your third tech.
before I give my third, my notable mention was just lightsaber. I mean, come on, that was, I mean, all King tech, and could this be reality one day? As a kid, it was always lightsaber. I don't know what it was, the fact that they took a prop design and ILM did their thing in the hum, and I don't know what it was as a kid, but you just wanted that to be real so bad, and so that's my mention, honorable mention.
A
But
laser
my
sword.
it's
It's
the
cool as
lightsaber.
hell.
Exactly. There's no real purpose to that. Like, I'm not going to go wield this thing out, like, serve me faster dinner or something like that. Like, no. But my number three is absolutely going Back to the Future, because I think that's another great one with technology that some of the stuff is actually coming true. The DeLorean. Not only was that a cool car and turned into a time machine, but at some point it could fly too.
Yeah.
The idea of flying cars not being here yet is kind of bothering me. Like, come on, it's 2020. Where are we at? Let's go, Elon. But anyway, the fact that like I fly small planes now, and just the DeLorean was always like the go-to piece of technology because it was the time machine and then could fly in later movies was like, "Gosh, this thing is amazing." So to have that come true and then to see bits and pieces of that in, our vehicles these days with electric vehicles, and there are some amphibious type of vehicles that go on land and water, but come on, can't we just throw some wings on there and get some lift and we'll be on our way? Anyway,
We
that was my
have the
number three.
technology.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a
as
good
you're
call.
looking at what drones can do with these like whatever vertical propellant, propellers and stuff that just come out the side, we're close. We're close.
Yeah, yeah, so
I mean, the funny thing is, didn't they choose the DeLorean because it was a failed car and they could get a bunch of them cheap?
I don't
That could
remember
be.
though.
I think there's also like I would like to say that it's more of a storytelling aspect of like Doc Brown being kind of this failed crackpot scientist
Sure.
and
Yeah.
it being a symbol of, oh, remember this failed crackpot car? Of course, that's the one he would think is
That's
the
what he gets
coolest.
his hands on. Yeah, no, I just mean it's funny because it is a cool car. We consider it a cool car now. I like, this movie put DeLoreans on the map in our pop culture zeitgeist forever, but it was a failed car. And that's why it's funny in the DeLorean reference in The Wedding Singer. Because the douche fiance
Oh,
that you hate rolls up with the DeLorean. So
right, right,
I
right.
will
in his
say
Miami Vice costume.
a DeLorean without, all the cables and the wires and the flux capacitor and
Mhm.
all that, meh.
Yeah.
It's just whatever. It's
It
got
just
to
looks like a
Exactly.
be
Datsun.
exactly. It's got to be the time machine version. And I believe DeLorean is trying or tried to make a comeback with a new electric version of car or whatever. And again, man, if it's not a time machine or present itself in a movie, it's the fantasy aspect that makes it cool.
No flux
Exactly right.
capacitor, no purchase.
And it was a car first, right? And that's one of the like really cool, Spielberg things or whatever. It's like it's always about the vehicle, right? You got to have a cool car. There's more usage of the DeLorean in a car chase or racing across town to get to something in time and doing that kind of stuff than it actually travels through time, right? It travels through time like 3 times, but it's a cool car racing around all the time.
Right.
It actually works better than if they had chosen a popular car model at the time, right? That would have been completely outdated by now, but the DeLorean is the DeLorean. It's pretty
Right.
interesting.
Because it doesn't still exist. That like
Right.
actually helped it because it's
Right.
just this mythical thing that you don't see all the time.
Well, my third gadget also comes from Back to the Future, and I actually struggled with this one because there are things in Back to the Future that are absolutely true now, and there's things that are not. Like also don't have hoverboards. I mean, they have things called hoverboards, but they don't hover; they're on wheels. So there are, and the self-tying shoes. Where's the self-drying jacket and the self-tying shoes? Like we have the technology for both of those as well.
They did make the self-tying shoes. Nike did make a prototype for that,
They
by the way.
tried to.
Right. I'm just saying they made a prototype. They didn't make it for
Yeah.
the masses, but yeah. I
Right.
saw a video.
And
of it.
the closest to a self-drying vest or clothes is I did buy from Costco. Speaking of Costco, I did buy a heated vest that I could charge for when I was supervising soccer games up here in Northern California. They get to be like 30 and 20 degrees. They get really cold here and windy. So having that heated vest, well, it wasn't a self-drying vest. My gosh, I could walk around with just the vest on and not a jacket because it was toasty. It was very lovely, but it's not self-drying. It's not the same.
I just love the voice, by the way. Your jacket is now dry. Like that
Yeah,
one will always live rent free in my head.
that's the voice of Captain Obvious.
Completely useless.
So I was thinking through Back to the Future, and very particularly, I was thinking about the like smart home idea from Back to the Future 2. And there's just all these bits and pieces, some that don't come through, like the fax machines in every room when Marty gets fired. That's not a thing. But one thing that is a thing, there is a scene in Back to the Future 2. Biff and his friends get arrested, and this drone flies in and takes video and picture of them that then ends up immediately on the news. Hello. Welcome to 2026.
Yep.
We have the ability to fly these drones, and news outlets are using them, and media people like TMZ are using them, and it's wild to me. That's wild because 1987 me was, or whatever year part 2 came out, was like, no way, something flying that takes pictures would never happen. And no, it happens, and you can buy one at like Walmart right now.
Have either of you had the experience of Amazon drone delivery?
No.
Me neither. But like,
Seen him.
there you go. It just flies through the neighborhood and drops off a box on your porch, takes a picture of it, and goes. Like that is happening right
Crazy.
now.
It is crazy. This is wild. How is that a thing?
I work with a specific school district that has a drone that's a part of their security force, and they have it on top of a very tall building, a very concentrated part of West LA, and very affluent area. I'm sure you can guess the neighborhood. But anyway, they at a moment's notice can press a button and launch this drone and have zoom in crazy, like, and I'm talking sci-fi, enhance, zoom in, enhance capability. You can lock on a person and it'll track them and follow them and circle them. All basically, autopilot stuff. Very cool. Very cool.
Crazy. The closest use in my
Very cool.
current school
And
district,
a little dystopian, but yeah, sure.
just a
Very
little.
cool.
The closest use in my current school district is they always take some big wide shots of graduation for all the schools. So they do some like whole crowd picture, I don't know what they do with it, but they have it.
But it can't hunt
It's
them.
crazy. No. And it's not delivering packages yet. Yeah. So that was what I chose as my third, is the picture taking news camera drone from Back to the Future Part 2.
Be good. All right. We did it, friends.
We did it. That's our list.
Those are our 3 fictional gadgets we wish were real.
Or are.
Or are. So you don't have to.
Which ones did we miss? Nerds Tell Us podcast at nerdbestfriends.com, or find us on social media. All right, Tony, as our guest, we want to invite you to be first and tell us what's the nerdiest thing you did this week.
I had this one ready, and I referenced it earlier. Was helping the kids with the Legos, right? Deku Tree. But this booklet, instruction booklet, was missing 50 pages. So I had to find the booklet online and print them out. And I feel like that was the nerdiest thing I did this week. 50 pages of a missing book
Of a
instructions.
Lego instruction book. Well,
So wait,
the funny
that's
thing
a
is,
thick. You
yes,
held
that's
up
what I
a
was gonna
thick
say. How is
book,
it missing 50
and it's
pages? It's
missing
an
50
inch.
pages. That's the biggest Lego book I've ever seen. That looks like a
What
coffee table novel,
Got a bigger one, the Millennium Falcon one. That thing is.
and it's missing
Yeah.
50 pages.
Yep. Yep.
Now,
Could that have been when you tell your kids, like, you chose the wrong one? We're gonna have to do this other one because we have the instructions for it.
Well, this has a total of 414 pages. 50,
Jeepers.
just, you know.
now, does Lego make it easy on you to get those instructions, or did you have to like go deep into the net?
Nope.
Okay, good,
I
good.
googled the Lego number right here. The
Uh,
PDF was right away. I didn't have to make an account or anything. It was just available
right on.
online, which is cool.
Good for them. That's excellent. Especially years from now when you want to attack that giant tub of Legos, and maybe try to rebuild some of those things.
Exactly.
It's also definitely nerdy. Hey, Rob, what do you got? What's the nerdiest thing you did this week?
I will go next. The nerdiest thing I did was I was experimenting with multicolor 3D printing. So I bought into a Kickstarter, of course, of 3D printable dice towers. But what's cool about these is it utilizes the technology in some 3D printers to be able to switch filaments to different types and different colors. So I've got a little prototype, a little test that I did. It's a little dice tower that's kind of like a Aztec pyramid type
Love
thing.
it.
It's very small. But what's cool about it is you'll notice it's got multicolors. So it's got red, it's got gold, it's got gray. And so as it's printing, it'll get to a certain layer, it'll get to the part where the color is, and then it just automatically like moves over and prints out that color, injects the other color by itself, comes back, prints the next layer, does the whole thing. And to watch it and to see what it's doing is really cool because when you get a multicolor thing like this, right next to it, a little tower has to print because it has to keep up the height of all of the different colors and stuff as it's switching because it never
Mm,
like lowers and comes back up, right? Because it would miss. So right next to it is a little tower full of color as it's going through. So that's like cool to
interesting.
see and cool to watch. Um, the other part about it was I decided, like, I was thinking as you've been talking about all of your success you're having with selling things on the internet and doing all this stuff in your house, I was like, yeah, but what if I printed a bunch of these and like I don't need them because I don't have any space for them. But what if all of them had a nerd best friend sticker on the bottom and were signed by Rob? I could have the fun of building them, but then we could get rid of them and we could sell them on the
Yes.
internet.
Yes, you
So in
can.
addition to buying the files, I bought the licensing. So I could be a legal retail seller of these things if I wanted
That's
to.
fantastic.
So that's all the fun, good part about it. The other part about it is incredibly expensive because there was so much waste of plastic as it would flush out and do the things. Also, the quality of this print is garbage. Like if you look at it up close, it sucks. It is just like every time it changed the color, whatever, like I think there was just like cool time or, like a dry time from the last layer. So like the layers are not very smooth. And I think those kinds of things I can mess with the settings and I can try to clean that stuff up. I've even been looking at the way they extrude between colors. Like you can actually make it do that inside the model as part of the infill instead of just doing it as like garbage. But when I say garbage, I mean just ounces and ounces and grams and grams of this little 3D printer. If I have it in a garbage bag, there was so much of it that it just
Well,
wasted
as
and expelled.
part of your new nerd shop, you can keep making those skulls.
Well, I'll keep making the skulls so we can start selling those too. But it's like, it's super wasteful. It doesn't look very good, but those things can be changed. It was still very fun to, okay, like I'm going to pick my 4 colors. I'm going to set it and see what happens. Like, yeah, it's all multicolor and there's a concept there. There's the beginnings of a concept there, but either way,
The idea that you can print it
fun.
and then not have to primer it and paint it, right? Like it's printer to table ready to go. That's
Absolutely.
really intriguing. That's really intriguing.
You can frame it as it's an advancement towards what we previously had, but I'm already thinking like how archaic it is still. It reminds me of a jukebox changing the actual physical disc or
Yes.
records rather than, it's all what's that modern jukebox, touch tunes or touch tones or
Yeah.
something like that,
Yeah,
where you
yeah,
just
yeah.
have an app and you can just do it from your phone and pay for whatever songs you want over someone else's junk pop music that they're listening to. That's another point. But yeah, so all the different pieces, it just seems so, I don't know, just way too
It's
many
not there
steps.
yet.
Yeah, it's not there yet.
Yes, it
Oh, we're
is
getting there.
way too many steps. And I love the analogy of the jukebox. Like, that's perfect because that is exactly what it is. It's like, okay, this is done. Now it's got to go over here and it's got to pick up this other thing and put it over here. And then it's got to do another thing. And then it's got to come back. And like, yeah, that's exactly what it's like. So we'll get there. We'll get there. But it's fun to see, over the last 10 years that I've been 3D printing, like all of this stuff just changing and improving. And you give it a shot. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go all in on this. These things are gonna be so fun to print, and I get it. And I'm like, that's trash.
Well, on screen, it looks great.
Well, great, man. I won't. We'll just sell them until the reviews, the 1-star reviews, start coming in, and then I'll be done.
Sell them as cheap prototypes. You are getting first editions.
Yeah, that's right. Well, no, we're not gonna sell this cheap. I'll tell you how much stuff. This little dice tower is like $20 in plastic. It's
Oh, gosh.
ridiculous.
Okay.
No, not
Okay.
that much, but yeah. I actually kept it so I could weigh it. I actually want to know how much it did end up costing in materials as
Need a way to melt down the filament and reuse it and make it recyclable, or is that not even a possibility?
that is a possibility. There are different kits and machines that you can get to do that. But again, it's this crazy multi-step process to do it. And then when you get it out, everybody says like, well, you could use it for prototyping, but like it's got problems because it's been melted and remelted, a few times. Like it's garbage filament at that point. But you got to reuse it. Just not at all
No,
worth it at
not
this
worth
point.
it. Got it.
Skulls. Skulls is the answer.
So yeah, I shared a few episodes ago. So I've got these silicone molds that are in the shape of skulls that I bought from Amazon. So I put the waste in there and then like melt it down with a heat gun. And so now I'm making these little like multicolor plastic
Very
skulls.
cool.
What am I going to do with those? I don't know, but they're cool. Every dice tower comes with a little skull inside. There you go. All right, Annalise, what is the nerdiest thing you did this week?
Hey, so very recently it was International Buffy Day. And I don't know if this was a thing before. I don't think it
International.
was. International. And it
They
was
were
actually
celebrating
international.
in Budapest.
Everywhere that there are slayers in I don't know. Um I don't know if this has been a thing before. If it has, I hadn't paid attention to it. I haven't paid attention to it. It was also Sarah Michelle Gellar's birthday, and it was in
What a coincidence.
reaction to that Hulu decided to cut the cord on the Buffy reboot that they've spent a little more a year on, and convinced Sarah Michelle Gellar to come out of retirement as Buffy, where she had spent the last 30 years saying like, I think we're good with this character, and they sat down and convinced her to do it, and she stuck her neck out and did it, and apparently this pilot's really good, and Hulu decided not to do it on the backing of one executive who bragged the entire time that he had never seen Buffy.
Cool. Great job.
So out of all of the outrage was International Buffy Day, and it was really cool. How I participated was the day before. I learned, I don't know how long Threads has allowed this to happen. I never noticed there was a schedule feature. So I scheduled a post every hour for not 24 hours, but about 13 or 15 hours of episodes we've talked about on this podcast with a little blurb in honor of International Buffy Day and Sarah Michelle Gellar's birthday. We're going to list some of our favorite episodes in no rank order. So just for 13 hours, I just posted a different one that you, me, Dr. Intern Jones, some of our listeners had written in about. And my gosh, the engagement on that day. Right now in Threads, still based off the strength of International Buffy Day, our average viewership of our posts right now is over 50,000 viewers. So
no kidding.
International Buffy Day has helped us out. So if you are listening for the first
It
time
is
on the strength of
international.
International, yes, if you're listening for the first time, thank you. Join us. I talk Buffy every time, almost every time. By the way, if you do play the Rob Cooper endorsed Nerd's Best Friend drinking game, I've mentioned Buffy. So go ahead and take a sip of whatever it is you're drinking. So yeah.
Technically,
Thank you, Tony.
so are we on
Thank you, Tony.
Buffy too? Because it's a Stephen King is the
You've said
is
it
the
for
drinking game.
both, but most often
That
Stephen
sounds
King,
like me.
because
Yeah.
We've done a lot of Stephen King stuff this season. So yeah, I've mentioned Stephen King now, although it was prefaced by Rob. That is a thank you, Tony. But yeah, International Buffy Day. It was really cool. People dressed up. People protested outside of Hulu. They had people send in those little like drink umbrellas, like the Class Protector Award that they give her in season 3. And people mailed those in by the thousands to Hulu. So it was cool to participate in International Buffy Day. And that's the nerdiest thing I did this week.
And is that the hashtag? Is it hashtag International Buffy Day for people to look for all these
Actually,
posts?
there might have been. We didn't use hashtags on threads the
Oh, we
entire
didn't.
day, and we still had
Okay.
thousands and thousands. And we got a ton of new followers too. We're over 300 followers on threads all of a sudden. It blew up
Jeez.
after
I wish you
International
told me
Buffy
that
Day.
at the beginning of the episode. I might have done a better job. Tony, be funny. Be funnier. There's new people listening.
No, they like us how we are.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was cool. And so all you Buffy fans and HellmouthCon.
Okay.
All right. Well, nerds, we've hit the end of season 5, which means next episode we will recap all the nerdy goodness and friendship from this amazing season of Nerd Best Friends. Before you go, join us. Hit follow or subscribe so you don't miss what's next. If you felt the nerd love, drop us a 5-star rating and help more nerds find their people. Find us on social media at Nerd Best Friends or email podcast@nerdbestfriends.com. Grow the nerd herd, spread the geeky joy, and we'll see you next time. And as always, Tony, thank you so much for being with us. And this topic was your idea, and it was a great one. Had a really good time chatting with you guys.
Pleasure is all mine. Hope to be invited back soon.
Yes, it's a
Absolutely.
long time coming, and I'm super thrilled that you were able to join us this week.
All right, nerds. See you next week for the season 5 recap.